And welcome back to another episode of the Pacific Calls podcast. We are here in the shop, in the studio. This podcast is brought to you by No Lie Beer as Alex cracks a cold IPA. They actually just released a new beer this past weekend. So it's Squatch Rocket V3. So
and they had a Squatch Fest.
They did. They had a Squatch Fest. So
was it just Saturday or was it Sunday too?
No, it was just Saturday. So I think I'm trying to remember there was a ton of people there. I had one of my buddies from back home. He now works in Montana, and he drove over just for the Squatch Fest. So from Deer Lodge. So
really?
Yeah. He says it's his last free weekend before he has to start working on the golf course again. So he's like, came over here to have some beers. So,
why not?
It's not that I'm excited to get my hands on it. Just texted our boy Jack over at No Lie to see if we could get some, and hopefully
some new stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be drinking it on the next podcast.
They used to have a Cheap Prick, I think was the name.
Cheap Prick?
Yeah, or was that Spokane?
They have it at Post Falls Brewery. Has one.
I'm thinking of a
Cheap
different
Prick.
one than from No Lie. Yeah. But anyways.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, we just kicked off turkey season this past weekend. April 15th was the opener. Pretty much everybody from the shop got out in some form or fashion, went out, hunted, had some fun, got some content. So be checking out the Instagram, YouTube, podcast, all that, because we'll be posting it here soon. But last week on the pod, we talked about our opening morning plans, and now we're going to talk about how it actually happened, what went down. Got some good stories, some good laughs, some heartache, everything. So yeah, who wants to kick it off?
I want to hear how you almost got arrested. So maybe you can start your weekend off.
That was on day 2 though.
That's fine.
Start with day 2?
No. You start with day 1. But I want to hear how you almost got thrown in jail.
Opening day was awesome. We had scouted a new property, set up a blind, took Lauren out for her first ever turkey hunt. Lauren's my wife, and she also
Lauren should be in this seat.
Yeah, she also paints calls.
Put Lauren on the podcast.
And
at least she killed something. I'm gonna go get her. That's way better.
Glued. I guess if she's.
Jurgis is out.
Okay.
Yeah.
My opening day sucked. That's all you need to know.
I'll start with. Then I'll talk about almost getting arrested.
Okay.
Went to meet Clancy for our turkey hunt on Sunday, super early because we boated across the lake, and so we had to get to the boat launch super early. I was exhausted from opening day, and she's not going to want to get on this podcast.
This is going to be great.
I can't believe. I'm so happy that he read the sign on the door, and now we have all this ambient audio coming through to the mics. So
hopefully everyone's.
Should we start
enjoying
over?
Come on in.
Nah,
Shut
there's
that
this beautiful
door. Shut that door.
Shut the door. Shut the door. Shut the door.
Yep.
Shut the door. There's a big sign right there. Keep the door shut.
Don't talk to my wife like that.
No one sees the sign.
Yeah.
Have a seat. Put the headphones on. Oh, you have paint on your face. Nice.
I was painting calls.
Actually, I paint on your face.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Dedication.
while we're here, all right, everyone take a bet on how long it takes for Alex to be like, anybody see my phone? Because it's sitting right here on the podcast table.
He's just going to come back in.
Everyone, this is Lauren. Wave to the camera. So I took Lauren out for her first turkey hunt on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And you want to tell us how it was?
It was great.
What happened?
Did you take her scouting on Friday?
No, I didn't take her scouting.
Okay, so she had no pregame what's going on, how it's going to happen, besides you just spitting just an awful lot of information to her ears.
Yeah, and
where it was overflow.
yeah, Friday
You're
night.
just word vomiting.
What did we do Friday
Listen
night?
to me.
We practiced with the tripod, right?
Yep.
And the gun.
Scoot it a little closer if you can.
Okay.
Yeah, so we set up
Yeah.
the gun tripod in front of the TV. The gun was unloaded.
So what action movie were you watching?
I was watching Die Hard. No, we were watching turkey hunting videos, and I would pause it when a turkey was in a certain position. And
This is awesome.
And Lauren would aim, and the kids were sitting there to our left, like watching. Willow, my daughter's like, "Are you gonna shoot it?" I'm like, "No, it's the TV." So got her in front of the gun, had her practice getting the gun up, get it on the tripod, turn the safety off.
Boom.
Yeah.
There goes our TV.
And that's how we went to jail.
It was helpful.
Yeah. So then we got up super early.
Yeah. At like 3.
Did you make sure she was sitting underneath some like kids' toys so it felt like she was sitting in the real forest? Well, you guys were sitting in a blind.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
had chairs.
Yep.
Never mind.
I set up the blind and
It was,
chairs.
it was a great setup.
You
On,
gotta really work on losing
Thursday.
the feeling in one of your butt cheeks because
Yeah.
it goes out.
Yeah, I didn't want. I wanted her to enjoy her first experience.
That's good. I think that's key for every age group, female or
It was
male.
supposed to be warm on Saturday morning, like 45, and
It's
then
not warm.
No, it's
then on
cold.
Friday it changed, and it was 29 degrees when we got out there. It was all frosted, and
Yeah. Couldn't feel my feet.
Yeah, my decoy frosted up.
really,
Yeah,
gotta like, bring your blow
but they
dryer.
didn't flare.
Nice. So then, what did we see first, or what happened first?
Well, when the lights started to come up, that's when we heard all the birds. That was cool for me to like walk in the dark, which I was not happy about. Walking in like,
You're just scared of something.
I mean, your brain goes there.
Sure.
There's lots of wild animals here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool to see or to hear all the turkeys
Gardener
around
snakes.
us and no snakes. I was thinking mountain lions. That's where I was.
Could be. Maybe an
Bears.
elk.
So yeah, but that was really cool. As it was starting to get light, all the birds were waking up, and that was really cool to hear.
And where were the gobbles at?
In front of us, to the right of us, that was cool.
Behind us.
Yeah,
All over.
yeah,
Yeah, and they were gobbling. It was awesome for her because they gobbled a lot.
yeah.
And then could you see any of the roosts?
No,
Okay.
no,
So you
none
couldn't
of
see
them.
them pitch down.
No, none of them were roosting. There's a little hill in the middle of this field that you can't see the one roost tree that we shot these birds where they came from, and so we can't see that one. Then we had some deer.
Yeah, we had deer out there for a while, just kind of taking their time. And then Wilson was like, "Look, there's an elk," and I thought he was joking, but this like group of elk came through the field. That was really cool.
And then we heard a hen coming close.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah. And then because there was a little window on the side of the blind, I could kind of like peek through, and there was a turkey up on the hill strutting, and that was cool. It didn't take him very long. He kind of like, he must have ran down, I don't know. I couldn't watch because I couldn't see. And Wilson was like, "Don't move." So he just
Don't
came
breathe, don't
down
move.
the-
Well,
I know.
my fault. The sun was coming up and just
right in our,
right into the blind because I couldn't.
Oh.
We had to be on that side of the field.
Right.
And so it looked like we had fluorescent lights inside the blind. So I was just like, don't even think.
It's good for video. I mean, you got proper lighting in there. But
Yeah. But it was
and it
bright.
warmed us up because it was freezing early in the morning. But
So he came in.
yeah, real quick and jumped on our decoy, which I'd never seen before. That was cool.
That is my favorite thing. I don't know a cooler thing in turkey hunting.
Yeah. And he was mad. Like he didn't come off the stake, but like he bent the stake over and went to town on that
Yeah.
decoy.
I didn't realize how fast they were. He just was like jumping on it and then whipped around, and his head was, it was wild.
And he took a few steps away from the decoy, and I told Lauren to shoot. And then you said,
Was he just saying shoot one time? Or was he like, shoot, shoot,
No.
shoot, shoot, shoot?
I said,
No,
I said, I couldn't get him to come out of strut. I was cutting, I was doing all this stuff to get him to come out of strut. He wouldn't. And I was like, we just got to kill this bird. So I said, shoot him. And you said,
I said, his fan is up.
yeah. So she,
Didn't want to shoot through his fan.
Hey, that's good.
yeah.
That's good.
And I was just like, shoot the bird.
But his fan kept going, like, because he was jumping and doing all this stuff, so his fan kept coming up and down. So I think I ended up hitting part of his fan.
Yeah.
But then I shot him and almost fell over.
Yeah. I didn't have to tell her to take her safety off, which was good.
Yeah, I remember
I totally
to do that.
forgot.
Oh, that's
So
good.
she took her own safety off her gun, which was good. Shot the bird and you smoked him.
Yeah, I flopped around for a little bit, but not long.
Yeah.
Couple flops.
Yep. And then he was gone.
And the other turkeys were kind of like, what happened? It was weird. Like, I
Yeah.
thought they would just be like out of there.
Yeah, because there was a group of like 6 Jakes that came in right behind him.
But you've killed ducks before. You've shot a deer
Yeah.
before. So you've done this before. You've harvested.
Yes.
Was this any different feeling?
It was a little different because I feel like the deer are a little slower moving. Yeah, I had more time to kind of like, because I'm very cautious about my aim and like I want to shoot well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like with the deer, I had a little more time to like get right on him. The turkey was like, that threw me off how fast he was moving. And I'm
It can take
aiming
so
for,
long
like,
for them to come
this
in,
little-
and then you have your shooting window is like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, and it's a weird break. Like in the morning, they were real noisy. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yes. and then I don't know, we sat for a little, not super long, but it was quiet for a little bit. So kind of the waiting period, and then all of a sudden, in they came.
Yeah, because they were gobbling on the other side of the field, what we couldn't see, and I would call to him, he would call back. We had some public land hunters come in behind us and try to get our decoys to come onto public land. So I got out of the blind and I waved at them, and then they got real sad, and then they walked away.
That would hurt my feelings too.
Yeah.
Chasing a not real bird.
Yeah, because I watched them. I could hear them calling. I watched them crest the
Did
field.
they not see your blind?
No, they couldn't really see. Our blind was kind of behind some trees.
Okay.
And so they saw our decoy, sat down real quick for about a half hour, tried to call our decoy in. So I was like, I got to get these guys. I waved at them, and then they went off to chase another bird.
Nice.
So, but the private we were on borders public, so they wanted to hunt the line, which is fine. There's no problem in doing that, but not when they're fake turkeys. So, yeah, and then we walked out, and
Yeah, he was heavier than I thought he would be.
you didn't even carry him.
I mean, I picked him up.
Handed them off to you.
I picked him up.
Yeah, which is coming a long ways because she cried the first time she held a fish.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fish. I mean, they're super slimy and like wiggly and like they're kind of hard to hold
Texture-wise,
sometimes.
yeah,
there's
terrible.
like, I mean,
But turkey's texture is not the best. I mean, from the, I guess, feet.
yeah. And if you like don't hold them right and you grab the spurs, that never feels great.
No.
No, but it was a good bird. It was an 8.5-inch beard, I think 22.5 pounds, and like 3/4-inch spurs. But it was a super white Miriam, which was
Yeah, he
really
was
cool.
beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
a true,
You guys
like-
brought him back to the shop.
Yep. Yeah, he was like a true Miriam.
Took a photo out in front.
Yep.
That would be cool to post up.
Got a collection going of photos in front of the shop. So
Yeah, side note, if anyone shoots one locally and they want to swing by the shop, say hi, come
Yeah.
grab a photo and
Monday-
see the shop.
Monday through Friday, about 7 a.m. till about 3 p.m.
And
You'll-
then on,
someone
on the
will be
weekends,
here.
On the weekends, you can hit us up. We'll see
Yeah.
if we're going to be around.
Yep.
But,
'Cause we'll probably have dead birds here too.
yep, that's the plan. Boom, drop that salt.
So that ended. We went home, hung out, got up super early the next morning, and I've been up at like 2:30 to 3 o'clock for this last week,
Yeah.
chasing with youth kids or whatever. Get up. I'm driving to meet this spot. I have a headlight that just went out, and I didn't know the speed limit, and I was going like 15 miles an hour too slow in a 55. It's 2:45 in the morning. I didn't care. But then the speed limit changed to 35, so then I was going too fast in the 35, and then it changed to 25, so then I'm going double the speed limit at 25. And I had all my light bars on because it's dark. And I pass a cop. He whips around, pulls me over, and he comes up and he says, all right, so you got your light bars on, that's illegal. You have a headlight out, that's illegal. You're going too slow, then you're going too fast, and then you're going really too fast. Your insurance or your registration is expired like 2 days ago. And I couldn't find my insurance card. He goes, have you been drinking? I was like, no, sir. He goes, I don't believe you. And thought I was drunk, which I wasn't. I probably looked, and I have a gun strapped to my chest.
sure.
And so,
Decked out in camo.
yeah, I didn't look very good. And so then another officer came. They made sure I wasn't drunk.
So you went through the whole test?
Not the whole thing. He stopped. He had me balance on my one foot. I got the balance of a flamingo,
That's good.
but I wasn't drunk. But so then another cop showed up and he asked me some questions, and then he's like, "I'll be back with you." So I'm expecting to like get wrecked with tickets.
Yeah.
Didn't get a single ticket. He hands me my license back and goes, "Well, have a good hunt." And then
This is at what time?
3,
In the morning?
yeah.
Nice.
And I then started to have a conversation with the other police officer I was like, do you hunt? And in my head, I'm like, stop asking questions.
Just leave.
Just leave. And so I got a laundry list of things to fix today. I got to renew my truck registration, fix my headlight, find my insurance card,
Wow. You got out of all of that.
everything. I for sure thought I was getting one ticket.
Something.
Yeah, so then I showed up at the boat ramp, and my buddy Clancy says, it's going to be a good day. I said, why? And he goes, because you know when black cats run across the road, that's like bad luck. I I was like, yeah. He goes, well, one ran across the road this morning. And I hit it.
So is that like, I mean, if it crosses your path, they say it's bad luck. But if you kill it before it gets to the other side, what is that?
I think
You're
that's
good to
good
go.
luck.
Okay.
And I was like, well, and I got out of like 90 tickets this morning. So we're going to have a good
You're not
day.
wrong.
So we boated
You had
across.
like $2,000 worth of fees or fines right there.
Oh, yeah. So we boated across the lake. I had roosted some birds on Friday morning where you were at, that first field we crossed. Like you parked the boat, go up the hill right there. So we set up right there. You walk up this really steep hill for like 15 yards, and then we set up. Birds gobbling out in front of us for a while, and then birds gobble right behind us, like next to the boat where we parked the boat. And I was really shocked because I was like, we had to have like walked underneath these birds. And they fly down, and I can hear them drumming like 10 yards behind us. And then within a minute or two, they were fighting our decoy. And we were hitting real good. Clancy was shooting a gun that he's never shot before, and he missed the bird. And then I dropped the camera, and I picked my gun up, and I killed him, which is super fun.
He shoot all three.
Yep. So, well, the first one he shot, and he forgot he was shooting a pump because he never shoots a pump.
Oh,
And I can hear him going,
that would fuck with me too. Oh no.
and so then I hear boom, boom. And I was like, this bird is still alive. And so I picked my gun up, and I killed him. But he didn't go but 15 yards from that. So I think I shot him at like 30 yards. We got the bird back to the boat, walked 100 yards. I used the kill count, cut real hard, birds gobbled. We set up without a decoy just behind a log, and we called this bird down across this clear cut just with real soft calling, like purrs and little tiny yelps. And Clancy killed him at 25-ish yards with one shot.
Nice.
So it was like two of my favorite ways to hunt. Like one bird was on top of the decoy and the other bird was kicking the decoy. And so like to kill a bird there is really cool, but then to call one in without decoys, that's like my favorite way to kill a turkey. And because it's a clear cut, so there's stumps and blowdowns, he would come 10 yards and then try to stick his head up and try to find the turkey and then go back into strut some more, get to a different place he could see, put his head up, and then every time he would go into strut, I would call real soft. And he would have kept coming, but where we shot him at was like perfect. I could see him in the camera. He put his head up nice and tall, and we blasted him. So we had I shot my bird like 555, and then Clancy shot his at like 640,
Nice.
something like that. So it was,
Quick.
yeah, it was an awesome morning. And then
They
we
were
were
fired up.
Yeah, and then we were walking out, and another bird lit off right off the road. And at that point, I was like, did we shoot another one? And then we walked around, and we actually spooked him, and he ran away. But then we went and fished, and it was one of the best opening weekends I've ever had.
Yeah.
So,
Sound like it.
yeah.
Nice. Well, good.
Yeah.
Lauren, do you want to grab Matt?
Oh,
We got to hear his side of the story.
Thank you, Lauren, for coming.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Congrats on your first bird.
thank you. It was awesome.
It's badass. It's a big, beautiful one. Well, I mean to rock and roll.
Yeah, might as well while Matt's coming.
It was one of those weekends that you'll just never forget. Now, of course, my cord won't work. There it goes. Been doing the same. Come on. Hello.
We're looking for a cord sponsor.
Yeah, no kidding. Anything would
No,
be great.
I mean, every chord just fails all the time. It's
Dude,
great.
I can't even like.
Where are you?
Oh, here, right there. If I just don't move and don't breathe, then we should. Oh, I moved. Maybe.
Good there. Good there.
No.
Try the connection here. Flip it around. Got to pull straight down. How's that?
Maybe. Yeah. Okay, we're on. Okay.
What I did for yours.
Big Earn and I have been guiding these two dudes that have become pretty good friends of ours over from the west side, Rich and Greg. And it's usually a pretty good weekend for the most part. You know, we're playing with fresh birds. They always come for the opener, so they always have the freshest of the fresh. And we kind of hang out all day long, but we didn't have to on Saturday. I scouted on Saturday. I scouted on Friday, and didn't see too much action. We had a couple toms ripped by the blind where we were going to set up. So, I mean, that's always our go-to is to go to this one spot in the property and So Saturday we're sitting there, and it was cold, like what you guys were talking about. It was a lot colder than what they were
shivering.
saying. Yeah, decoy was frosted over, the grass, everything was all frosted. So my birds held in the trees a little bit longer. They were about a half hour later than they were on Friday. Friday it was warm out, and I kind of got a little nervous because everything shut up and I was starting to hear gunshots all around. I'm like, fucking people are blowing them up.
He got one.
Yeah, and then when you're taking people out and they're like, well, where are the birds at? Are they coming?
I swear they were here yesterday.
Yeah. And I kind of pulled a card that I try not to pull, and I didn't hear anything for a little bit. I heard a couple gobbles off in the distance, and we were hearing some noise. There was a lot of action going on in the trees. And I thought I heard some hens hit the ground, so I started calling a little bit, and I think I called a little too early because then I started listening a whole lot harder, and they were still on the fucking roost. So wasn't too proud of that moment. I thought I kind of gave up, like not where we are, but just did the wrong calling at the wrong time. And it took an extra half hour, like I said, for them to even come off the trees and for us to even see them fly down off their roost. But once we saw them fly down off the roost, we had I think there was 3 or 4 hens that came rolling by, and no toms with that. There was supposed to be, I was counting on 2 birds to come from behind us from this other roost, but they were nowhere to be seen. And finally had one bird way off in the distance. I could see him strutting over on the fence line. And that's where they either go left, right, or straight. And if they don't go left, then we're hosed. They're going to be gone on other property for the entire day. So saw a couple more hens starting to come, and that tom just turned and started following those hens. And behind that, I didn't even notice, and neither did 2 of the guys. Ernie actually saw him, but there was 3 more toms coming behind this one, and we had birds it just started happening like where birds were just everywhere. And I was like, holy shit, what the hell is happening? Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us.
I'm back.
You're back.
The co-host is making an appearance.
Co-host.
Yeah, exactly. So we had birds starting to come in, and they were strutting from a long distance. I had the 3/4 Jake out with my fan, Jake fan on it, and then a hen, and they were positioned about a 1.5 foot away from each other, and we had one come in. There was one tom right in front, and Rich kind of fucked up last year, and he missed at a pretty good shot, so we were razzing him hard. He spent $150 on ammo for this trip. $150 on ammo.
Like that's what he brought?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was like 10 shells. He went and bought the most expensive of the most expensive stuff, TSS out there, and then he. Do you need him?
All right, well, never mind. I was going to ask Jurg for another beer, but
Oh,
surprise me. Surprise me. He's going to bring me the pickle whiskey.
yeah, that's all it's gonna be. So
Dark stout.
So Rich is sitting there, and he's like, "Can I shoot? Can I shoot?" And I was like, "No, hold on." And there's 2 toms coming in right behind that. He didn't even see the 2 toms, and they had a couple more toms behind that. But he started moving his gun over to the single tom, and I'm like, "Do not shoot." And he then noticed that there was the 2 toms over right behind. And so we had Greg on the left, Rich on the right, and we just let these birds come in, and Ernie did the countdown, 1, 2, boom, shot both of them, and they were dead. They were dead. One shot before, too. And
that
so,
video is sweet because
yeah,
it goes
'cause
bang, and then this one goes
jumps up and
like a
like
pheasant.
dies in midair. It's crazy. I'm not sure how all that worked out, but it worked out.
So clearly that blind setup, moving that over, worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
Favor.
yeah, 100%. It's just, lining them up, having a bigger shooting zone instead of how it was positioned for the kids, because we knew they were going down this tree line because it was just piss and rain and windy. This time they're now they're breaking up. I noticed that all of our birds are starting to split up. They're in their spring groups. They're getting active. They're responding to calling, and yeah, they're just doing what they should be doing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Feels like a May 1st hunt. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
And you didn't have any neighbor issues. Doesn't sound like.
Well, the neighbors that we usually do have to deal with, they, I don't know. I don't think they were there, but yeah, no, nothing like what you guys had to deal with. I usually am right there. I'm just a little bit further away. And so I don't really feel the impact of his shell going off like you guys felt because you were so fucking close to each other. So yeah, it's a little different, but not much.
And it was our bird.
Yeah.
Like we had it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's heartbreaking. It's real heartbreaking.
They're everybody's birds.
Yep.
It was
They're-
very upsetting too because I think about 5 minutes earlier, Zach, he's kind of looking over and I can see he's all confused and he goes, "That's someone else calling over there." And then I kept listening and I was like, "Yeah, it does kind of sound like a shitty like."
You got to start
like
the story
not-
from the beginning, though.
Oh, I thought someone else. I thought Alex told the story.
No, Alex
No,
pretty much
no,
got
no.
up and
I'll
left at the
finish.
start of
I'll
it.
finish my
Well,
day,
yeah.
and then you can go into your day. I want to talk about your day really bad. Yours is your first time out there. I'm excited about that. Mine was kind of boring, but
But better.
Yeah, we only shot. It was kind of boring. We only shot 4 turkeys that day.
so we went back in the blinds. We did our high fives, took a couple photos, and then got in the blind. And usually if you do whack a couple, it's gonna mess up the area for a little while. So
Not today.
we just chilled and hung out for about 15 minutes, and I heard some hens up on the hill to my right, but I knew a lot of the birds went across the river over to this other field. No, I didn't actually know that. I lied. They went that direction, so I'm
Checked
assuming
my
they
phone
did.
and the collared one. Was,
Yeah, it was young, 15 feet across. But so I started calling out the hens in the I guess the group that I heard over off the right, and all of a sudden, a hen and a tom flew across the river and lit about 150 yards away. And my client and Rich is just like, "You still fucking got it. You still got it." And I was like, "I never had it, but thanks, man.
I never lost it.
I will forever keep it." No. So I started focusing on those 2 birds, and then all of a sudden we turned back to the right, and there was 4 toms coming from the far property, and they were just strutting out and making just timely manner coming right to us. So I just kept calling a little bit, and it turned in from 4 to I think there may have been 6 toms that we pulled over from the neighbors, and it was just a single file line of like toms rolling. And I wish we had like 10 dudes to just clean house.
You're just sitting there ringing the dinner bell for him.
Yeah, oh my God. It was just, they were responding well. Once we started calling and once they came off that hill, they were just hitting it, and I stuck to it until about, 70-ish yards away. And then I put the call down and kind of focused just on the camera, and two of them came in. They were about ready to do the dance. Ernie called the shot, and boom, 2 more dead. Kill him. 1, 2, kill him.
And it was a fun morning because first thing in the morning, and this leads into your hunt. Trevor texts, 2 birds down. And I was like, awesome. 10 minutes later, not too long after, I was like, bird down for Lauren. And shortly after that, Trevor's 2 more birds down. My phone's blowing up. I'm like, everybody's killing turkeys. How's it going, Matt, Zach, Alex? Because you guys were all together. Zach was
silent.
filming. You and Alex had guns.
Yeah, and everything had already happened. We just weren't too excited to share the news.
Yeah, we were pretty heartbroken about
Correction.
the whole event.
Then I got a text from you guys that said bird down, and I was like, unbelievable. We were unstoppable. And then I get this picture of a peacock from Google Images. And then I
It
got
was a
real
down
sad.
bird, I will say that. But yeah, is that basically the end of your day?
That was the end of my Saturday.
You want to talk
You-
about your Sunday?
No,
or-
we don't have to do that yet.
Man. Okay, yeah. So me, Zach, and Jurg went out. First time hunting this place. Third time turkey hunting.
Where's it at?
It's out over in Cheney there. So
Camp Get Wrecked Yourself.
and anyway, so
You can Venmo Matt for the pin.
150.
yeah, something like that.
Can't bend over.
We had went out Thursday to kind of go scout it, get an idea. We heard that birds were up there. Got told that they're coming in from one way. Turns out complete opposite end. So it's a good thing we went up there or was that Friday? Maybe
Friday morning.
Yeah, so Friday we went up there, found out where they were. Didn't see anything. Didn't get too close because didn't really want to blow it. And So we're like, okay, we knew where we were going to sit. Zach did a really good job on that because we sat down and it was like we could have been a little bit better on where we sat, but for not seeing any birds, it was damn perfect. My only concern is there's a little knoll I couldn't see over, but Zach's like, no, they're going to come over this way. And I was like, all right, perfect.
Oh, so you
This'll
listen to the
work.
cameraman.
Yeah. I figured, I should probably listen to him. He's been on a few turkey hunts. And then, so we're sitting there, they're just going crazy. They're hammering hard. I mean, I don't know how many turkeys you think ought to be there, but.
It sounded like at least like 4 or 5 gobblers in the tree.
So we're like, okay, we got at least enough for me and Jörg probably to kill a bird.
Enough to go around.
Yeah. And,
I like when confidence is high when birds are gobbling. You're like, all right, there's more than one. That means we can kill like 6.
100%.
Way.
Anyway, so I'm sitting there. I don't really know what to expect, like when they fly out of the tree, or different sounds, what's going on. So I'm asking Zach, okay, when are they going to come down? Blah blah. And he's like, well, I think they're down already. And then just right over the knoll, I just see all the white tips of a tom strutting out there, and I was like, oh man, he's facing right at us. He's going to get right on.
Could
this
he
road.
see your guys' decoy?
I don't think he could.
Yeah,
and
I don't.
I think that was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Were you guys calling at this point?
yes.
Yeah.
What kind of calling?
It was just like soft. Well, okay, so they jumped down off the tree. The hens were very talkative first thing in the morning, yelping, cutting at each other, kind of fighting. The toms were just like shot gobbling pretty much like every single time they would do it, and like right as they would start. So then they weren't really leaving the hens, and the hens were super talkative. So we started to try to like mess with the hens and try to get them fired up to maybe pull the toms over to us. Just because, sometimes that time, depending on what time of the year it is, hens will get kind of territorial, like, oh, you're trying to take my man type of deal. And then up over, like, I could, like, see out of the corner of my
Growing
eye.
up in the hood's what it's taught him.
Yeah. I kind of see,
you
like,
talking
the white head kind of pop up. And it was, like,
So they were close.
yeah, they were, like, we were on Onyx, like, the area that I was looking at that looked like where they would roost at, kind of like a little clear cut. Was about 200 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was enough foliage and the trees weren't tall enough to where we could sneak in like that close and not have to worry about them busting us type of deal. But we were like doing some cuts and stuff like that, trying to get them to come over. And then we look up and there's the tom sitting right there looking at us, gobbling at us. He was looking hard, spitting, drumming, staring, looking around. And he was just like sitting in one spot, just kind of spinning back and forth, strutting.
Decoy was almost like right here though on the road. Then there's a clump of trees, and he was kind of back in here.
Yeah.
So I don't think he necessarily saw the decoy, but he knew where we were.
And it was on a different person's property
No.
when you saw him strutting.
Nope, it was on ours.
He was. Okay.
Yeah, 1,000%. Because so we could have went down like another 20 yards and been on the corner of the road, but with us, because the birds were firing off the morning we scouted, but I didn't want to sneak all the way back to where they were with 3 of us and have them see us the morning before we're gonna hunt them. So I just played it all off listening. Snuck in, looked at my maps while we were walking in, trying to figure out where to sit, and it was a pretty open area. So I was like, oh, if we put the decoy on the highest point in the road, because his uncle had mentioned about them like coming off the tree and then working in the roads and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, we'll just put the decoy on the road, and they'll probably come work the road, and then it'll see the decoy. But he came into a spot on the road where it was like, if you stayed on the road, it went into the neighbor's property. So he was strutting on the far, like right on the property line pretty much. And then looking right at us, strutting, and then like we'd call out and we'd gobble. Started doing like purrs and stuff like that, trying to get him to come a little closer so maybe he could see the decoy. And then he just went around this tree and then never heard him again.
It's kind of at that point too, though, that looking back on it, I think the neighbors saw him looking at us, because that's kind of when the neighbors calling would get almost a little bit more aggressive, especially if we called. He thought that we were turkeys, I think. I don't think he had any idea at first.
That we were there.
Until he looked back at us, then I think he saw us and was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. But the neighbors started to get pretty aggressive on the call, like Matt said. And the turkey never I don't think that he spooked off of us at all, because I never heard a putt. He never tucked a snoot. He never tucked a wing. He was just when he went behind the tree, he was still strutting and like he was like completely comfortable and confident. So I don't think that we.
Well, if anything, you probably saw the fucking dude.
Yeah,
Well, I think that he saw that guy's decoy, is what happened.
yeah.
Did you guys see his decoy?
We did not know, only him. So
But he was so the Tom was kind of facing us right here at this angle, and this guy is straight off of me, so he's right here looking up a chute this way. Then you would see that Tom literally turned,
yeah,
and then right when he turned is kind of when he shut up and kind of disappeared out of eyesight, and then it wasn't
much
shit.
longer.
4 minutes, 5 minutes later,
Then-
shot goes off, and I was like, boom! Yeah, I was like, holy crap! I was surprised. And then I'm just staring, and then all of a sudden I just see a shotgun come down. I see the guy stand up, and then we all stand up like, well, what now? You know?
Yeah.
And at first I was pissed because I was like, I don't know, I just had got so much adrenaline from it that I started to freak out because my uncle had mentioned like, hey, he's had people poaching before and stuff, and I just instantly
You're
got
pissed.
Yeah, and I was like, what the
So that
This
guy was
guy
on
knew
your
it.
uncle's property?
No.
No.
Oh,
Did you
no
run
way
over?
he
You
was.
didn't run over there, did you? To go say, "Hey,
No.
how's your
didn't.
bird?"
He kind of looked back at us and
Ran.
All three
put his head
stood
down
there.
and just continued trucking on away from us.
I didn't see him holding a turkey, but it was kind of still gray, and I was like, so I don't
What
know
time
if
of the
he
morning was
missed.
this at?
This was like
Early.
6.
I just
Early.
looked at the text. It was before 6. You said I had one hang up, and then leave. That was at 5:50.
Yeah,
8.
so
And then you said
yeah, so
5
probably,
minutes later, the neighbor won.
yeah,
And then Matt says, this effing sucks.
yeah,
And then Matt said, I'm headed to the store to get some turkeys.
yeah. So if I looked up on like the map and the neighbors, like where the neighbor, it makes sense that the bird like went over towards him because it's way more open on that corner. So like where we were, there was like, I mean, his uncle's doing a pretty good job of like managing that property for hunting and stuff like that. But the neighboring corner was just super open, and I think that's where Homeboy had his decoy set out because that's
Is
where
there
it
a better
sounded like the
spot
shot
where you
was
guys
going.
could sit?
Yeah, but it was just right on the property line, so it's like it's a tough one.
You gonna go back up there this week so that motherfucker's not out there?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about it. I'm not
Because
too
he's
much
probably
in
just a weekend
rush.
hunter.
Yeah, I would assume there's not even a house on the land he was on.
So
So
I would
mean,
hit it this week.
and-
It's because it's on. Like when birds are on, it's like when we get our huge cold spell and we're like, we got to go goose hunting now. It's the same thing. It's like these birds are on, they're reacting,
This is the
they're
earliest I've-
aggressive. Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised at how cold it's been. And then it's not. I mean, it's warmed up here and there, but not like solid.
Last year, we got beat the first 2 weeks of the season.
It was
Like,
rough.
It was rough.
Well, it
Yeah.
snowed opening day like 5 inches.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Zach was not happy.
No, that was
like-
shit.
Well, it's like this is my first time turkey hunting really up north, and then I'm like, oh, so this is what it's gonna be like. It's snowing. I have 40 layers of clothes on. There's grouse in the woods. I don't know that are grouse, and
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Zach looks, he goes, what is that? Then boom, 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 boom. I was like, it's a grouse.
Well, it's cool that you guys were able to go scout, get permission, scout it, kind of do the whole dance, and you've learned the property. You've learned where to go now. You've learned where the roost is at, and that's the only way to learn is to go and fail.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
And then at that point, it was so early in the morning that I don't think any of us were ready to just head back to the truck and be like, well, this sucks. So we kind of just decided to walk the property, decided to go back to that field where initially we thought they were coming from. And I was like,
you didn't hear any other gobbling after.
We did. Yeah, they
here
just
and there.
they were on the neighbor property, and they were sounding like they were like.
Going away.
So the neighbor's property, how it's like laid out, is there's kind of like a road on his side too that opens up into a field, and they just sound like they were working their way out of there.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to take a pee. And then I went pee, and then I was like, well, that sunrise in that field looks really beautiful. I'm just going to go peek over there. I peek around the corner, and there's just 6 hens like 20 feet away. And then we're like, oh, crap, okay, let's set up decoys. Let's hide. Maybe they have a Tom with them. And then kind of,
Boom.
Someone shot the hens.
no, kind of kept it quiet. Didn't do much calling. Just kind of we're listening for them. And they're pretty quiet, too.
Yeah.
I would say, about 10 to 20 minutes of sitting there, and all of a sudden they just come out of the neighbor's property, and just a whole bachelorette group just walking right by us. And then they went down I don't know where they ever went, but no Tom was
Back into
on
the earth.
or anything.
They despawned.
About
And
one.
then we're sitting there, and I turn around. There's some like lady back on the other property in her robe, like trying to figure out if there's people in there or what. And I was like, man, these
That's
freaking
the
neighbors,
worst.
they're everywhere.
That's the
But,
worst.
Yeah.
And then you went back to the truck.
Yeah, so finally and then we found another place kind of back where we were in the morning and set up, and I think Zach.
I heard drumming at one point. I'm pretty. I mean, I don't know. You get to that point where it's like it's
Everything
turkey
sounds like a
season.
turkey.
Yeah, everything sounds like a turkey. Every time you drive, everything's a turkey, but it turns out to be a clump of grass. And
Stump.
I thought I heard drumming at one point in time, but didn't hear any gobbles. So we just sat there. We're patient because it's like we had did some calling, right? Like sat down, waited a second, did some light calling, and then just shut up. And I thought I heard drumming at one point in time, but I was probably just delusional at that point.
The main reason I think that neighbor missed is obviously he could have more than one tag, could be more than just one person, but man, he has to be icing his wrist today because he would not shut up on that call, not even for more than like a minute. It was kind of bad.
Right at the end there, we started to
Leave
mess
my
with them
brace.
because Jurgis would just start calling and immediately yelp, 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 yelp on a slate call, and Jurgis was just messing with them because it's like
Yeah.
he kind of just like gave up,
Sure.
Yeah.
and we were like just having some fun at that point.
Finally head back to the truck. We're like, all right, whatever. Alex had to leave, so then we were just kind of taking a break and went back to the truck. Alex is just messing around with the box call outside of the truck. And all of a sudden, Alex goes, holy shit, you see that Tom over there? Right behind the trailer. And Alex points at him, and we all look, and then the Tom just takes off. We're like, all right. Well,
Well, you know, there's another Tom.
Yeah, there's another one up there. So,
There you go.
yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah,
there.
I wouldn't give up on her too soon.
No.
No, it's a good chunk of property. It's
Yeah.
definitely like
And
it's really
now,
good for turkeys. There's no undercut brush whatsoever. His uncle's done like a really good job of like taking care of it. And there's some really good open areas for birds to strut and get in the
well,
sun.
now with that bird being shot, more birds are going to
Maybe.
move in.
We
Maybe
don't know if
we'll
it
see.
got shot.
You know, but Toms will move in.
Would be nice, yeah.
So, yeah, especially if you guys heard multiple gobbling going on the roost.
It's funny, too, because there's a big field off of where they're roosting, and all morning the geese were just hammering. And then it was the wildest thing. The geese, they kept wanting to be in the pine trees. They, like, kept
Oh, yeah.
coming into the woods, landing at the very tips of the pine trees like an eagle would do.
The
And
geese?
yeah, they came
It was
in. They
wicked.
landed in the clear cut.
The hell?
And then every time, they were just so fired up, all the geese. And then every time they would get fired up, the turkeys would get fired up.
That's my
so
locator.
It was,
That's my secret.
Oh,
Yep.
it was
Wherever I
pretty
hunt,
fun.
I have two or a couple groups roaming around, and they light up when they hear that goose call.
So it was kind of fun to watch that, listen to that all morning. It was, I don't know, never really gets old just to hear them doing their thing.
Right.
So
Well, it's good. Got out there,
And-
experienced it, learned some shit,
yeah.
take it all.
I definitely think that you guys could go out there and shoot a bird off that property easy if you didn't have
I bet you.
Jimbo over there
Yeah.
going to
Afternoons
town.
or-
So if you randomly saw three guys in the woods and shot
Yeah, if
at
you're
a
listening to
Tom,
this podcast,
call
Reach
us.
yeah, reach out. Let us know. Maybe we could work together here.
Oh, shit.
That would be a lot.
Let me
of
know when you're
property.
not going to be there.
Yeah, no kidding. But that land he's on, there's a lot of property there,
Yeah.
and he had to.
Carter Moore, is that you?
Dude, he strapped up his boots to get back to where he was. 'Cause there's no roads on that property or anything.
Oh, wow.
So,
it's fun. It was fun though. We had a good time.
I'm gonna call my uncle this afternoon and let him know how it went. 'Cause he texted me yesterday and he goes, "So why don't I have any pictures of some big toms?" I was like,
Because we suck. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Long story. I'll call you.
They're getting made right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Jurg went out Sunday,
Yeah. Drove to the public lands.
drove to the public lands.
Did he?
Yep, he said, I've never seen so many cars in my life.
Heard that from a couple people.
Yeah, which opening weekend and the
It's gonna be
second
slammed.
weekend is always slammed. But I think with Turkey Hunter, what I feel like I've experienced, they hit it hard the first 2 weekends, and then if they don't make it happen,
Yep.
they start fishing
Yep.
because fishing season's getting good.
Dawn.
And turkey hunting's obviously a lot of work. And so to do it, if you're a weekend warrior, that's a lot of weekends in a row.
A lot travel over from the west side
Yep.
as well. So they'll get here on a Thursday, scout Thursday, Friday, and hunt Saturday, Sunday, rip home.
Yep.
But yeah, he did that, and I don't think he walked in the woods. I think he just parked, or he kept driving and driving
Yeah.
and driving.
So, but he's going to get out this week, I think, and scout tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, he said that asked if I want to go back up there and give it another shot. And I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm open to it. I'm just right now I'm deciding if I want to mark off my first bird by myself
Oh,
and
there you
bring
go.
people up there
Mhm.
for second tag
Heck yeah,
just to see if I can do it.
nice
Um,
solo mission.
But there's also a part of me that's like, I don't really care that much. Like,
Get out.
Like, no, like I just don't.
You even caught the bug.
I don't care to have to, or I don't. I want to shoot a turkey, but it's like if it's with two people and the other person gets one, I have to wait.
You're still
I don't
stoked.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shot one before.
Yeah.
You've been through it.
So
That's good.
Just don't put a ring base under the turkey decoy like
That's
we did
key.
last time.
Yeah, that's
That was
key.
a fun one.
That's definitely key. Don't do that at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got a couple things going on this week. Ernie and I are going to try something wild and crazy on Friday or Saturday, depending what day we can get out there. And then maybe go Wednesday, depending on what everyone else's schedules are doing. But I got 2 tags left over in Washington, and then all mine in Idaho still.
Yeah, I got a tag left in Idaho. I'm going to go scout a Washington spot / hunt tomorrow morning.
Idaho's just 2, correct?
2, and then you can get a third for the fall. So, but what is fall?
I don't know. It's for goose hunting.
It's when the leaves fall off the tree.
Supposedly.
okay.
They didn't this year.
You guys don't really have that here.
Do you know
Really,
where
it's
the
probably-
I usually do.
I'm just excited for not this coming weekend because we got some DU banquets this weekend that we're going to.
Yep.
And
Everyone
then,
from the shop's going to be at your Post Falls deal.
Yeah, if you're listening to Post Falls Ducks Unlimited banquet is this Saturday. If you want to come, it's going to be awesome. And then the following weekend, we're doing a little turkey camp, which is I'm excited for that.
That'd be a good time. G Money
Yeah,
up in Springdale.
Garrett.
I'm excited for that one. Bring the van up there, hopefully.
Really?
Yeah.
don't get pulled over now.
We'll drive the speed
I'll
limit.
drive the van.
You don't
We'll
have
get
to
pulled
go.
over,
It'll
doesn't
take
matter.
forever to get there. I'm driving.
And we'll get there safely.
We'll get there.
You only had to fill up 4 times probably.
Yep, that's it. That's about it. So, cool. All right.
Well, thanks for listening.
Good.
I think
Everybody,
so.
everybody good? All right.
Yep.
Oh, thanks for Matt. You want to sign us out? Co-host? Yeah, you weren't on the last
Yep.
one, so
Well,
let's.
wait, real quick, can you mention our Instagram giveaway that we're doing?
Well, yeah. If you're on Instagram, we're doing a giveaway throughout the whole season. The winner will be selected June 1st because that's when turkey season's in May 31st here in Washington and Idaho. So we're gonna do it June 1st as the winner. You'll be entered to win, but it's super simple to enter. All you have to do is post up on your Instagram a picture of just one of our products, turkey call related, and use the hashtag PCTurkey23 and tag us, and you're automatically entered to win. So
And you
super
can do it
simple.
as many times as you want.
Yep. So then we'll
Kill
randomly
more
select a
birds.
winner on June 1st. So
Cool.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, everybody have a good week. Go get yourself a No Lie. Go down to No Lie, check them out, and buy yourself some more turkey calls. If you already have one, just buy another one.
You can never have too many.
We'll see you never.